Welcome back to Indie Film Weekly. I'm Glen Reynolds, your host, with three new indie features in theaters this week: a period sports saga with serious spin, a mind trip from one of world cinema's bold stylists, and a gritty Australian hybrid that blurs documentary and fiction. Do these indie films a favor, and yourself too. Pick a showtime, buy a ticket, and let your phone nap for 2 hours while you sit with strangers and actually feel a movie. This episode is brought to you by Circus Road Films, helping independent filmmakers find their audiences since 2006. Check us out at circusroadfilms.com. Let's dive in. Our first indie film in theaters this week tracks a paddle, a dream, and a chip on the shoulder. Marty Supreme follows a 1950s New York table tennis prodigy who decides ping pong deserves the same sweat and spotlight as any big-ticket sport. Josh Safdie shoots the hustle and the showmanship with a street-level pulse, smoky halls, side bets, fast hands, faster mouths. Timothy Chalamet leans into the swagger and the sleight of hand, channeling a real showman's flair as he works rooms that smell like chalk and coffee. The film riffs on the life and legend of Marty Reisman, which lets it flex both period dazzle and scrappy underdog energy. You get training montages, yes, but you also get the business of building a persona, the small hustles that fund the big stages, and the joy of a sport where the tiniest angle decides the point. Our second indie film in theaters this week is Resurrection, Bygone's sensory puzzle about a future where people no longer dream. A woman ventures into the dreams of a creature that still can, chasing memory, truth, and maybe cinema itself. Expect chaptered structure, hypnotic movement, and images that feel discovered rather than staged. Jackson Yee and Shu Qi anchor the human thread, while Bygone plays with time, sound, and perception, inviting you to watch the seams between waking life and story. It is genre, but also memory play, science fiction, and a love letter to how images can outlast us. If you like your movies to linger in your head on the drive home, this one leaves footprints. Our last indie film in theaters this week is Flathead, a black and white docufiction from Australia that lives between bar stools, backyards, and quiet prayers. Jaden Martin weaves the lives of an older man reckoning with wreckage and a younger man inheriting a burden he did not choose. The town is Bundaberg, but it could be any place where work runs out and people try to build meaning out of habit. The film moves with patience, letting you hear the wind in the palms and the gossip at the counter before it lands its blows. Addiction, faith, and masculinity all show up, but never as lecture points. It is unsentimental, open-eyed, and unexpectedly moving. So in theaters this week, that's Marty Supreme, Resurrection, and Flathead. Our spotlight indie film on TVOD this week is Capturing Kennedy. The documentary follows Jacques Lowe, a young immigrant and Holocaust survivor who became John Kennedy's personal photographer. The access is the story: home moments, campaign grit, the human behind the archive images you think you know. The film walks you through how a single eye can define an era and how proximity shapes history's public face. It is about craft, timing, and the trust between subject and photographer. And it doubles as a reminder that the man on the other side of the lens is living a life too. Available on Amazon, Apple, and Google Play. Our indie film classic turns 35 this year and still glides on wit and talk. Metropolitan. Whit Stillman's debut is a drawing room comedy of manners set in Manhattan's debutante season, where a shy, practical outsider falls in with an Upper East Side salon of idealists, snobs, romantics, and self-appointed philosophers. The pleasures here are sentences, not set pieces. People duel with ideas, defend half-baked theories, and reveal themselves in the courtly sport of conversation. The budget is modest, the rooms are ordinary, And that is exactly the point. The film looks at class from inside the parlor and from the hallway just beyond it, catching the insecurity under the posture and the sweetness under the pose. It is funny without sneer, nostalgic without hangover, and precise about the small humiliations that feel huge when you are 20. You can spot the seeds of Stillman's later films in the rhythms and the pauses. If you've never seen it, start here. If you have, it's one of those movies that plays differently every decade of your life. Streaming on HBO Max. And that wraps it for the December 19th edition of Indie Film Weekly. Whether you're tracking spin on a celluloid serve, flipping into a dream to find what was lost, or watching real lives merge with fiction under Queensland skies, there's something indie for you this week. If one of these films lands near you, meet it at the box office and let the big screen do its job. Subscribe, share, and leave a quick review if this helped you pick tonight's movie. Until next time, keep it curious, keep it communal, and keep it indie.